support was great and all.
But
Core
like,
silencer,
imagine a core
with
silencer,
like 50 extra attack speed at 10 minutes,
extra attack speed at 10
with
minutes.
max glaives. Like, he's gonna hit so stupidly hard if he's a core instead of a support that it almost makes me want him to be a core instead. But if they can make it work, I think it would be insane damage output.
Do you feel like, though, there's still, to bring this VP draft together, I still think you need some fifth hero that's like a centaur, like tanky, something that can actually frontline for you, because right now you don't really want the Lesh to have to frontline against these four heroes on the board for BC.
That's the key to all draw lineups is like, oh, if the lanes go great and you're winning in net worth, it doesn't matter if you don't really have a frontliner as much, because you have net worth advantage. You're the one playing on the enemy side of the map getting ganks off. But if you're losing or even, it can be really scary, especially against a hero like Bloodseeker or Tiny Matter if you don't really have a frontliner as much, because it's going to be difficult for you to stop them from hitting you. Silencer doesn't do that well. Drow can and cannot sometimes, depending, and SD is a little bit limited too. So they absolutely need some way to like create like a barrier, prevent net worth advantage. You're the one playing on the enemy side of the map getting ganks off. Something that has like losing area control, it can make the run at you less scary.
Absolutely.
Disruptor, kind of similar vein as punishing that run at you thing. Glimpse people back out of position. Don't let them retreat. If you do run at them, which they're definitely going to be able to do between Nyx, Tiny, Bloodseeker, they're going to run at VP, they're going to glimpse one back, they're going to murder that guy, and then they're hopefully going to clean up the rest of the fights. This is actually a rare case where Disruptor is a really good pick. Definitely generally seen as a weak support hero right now.
Well, Disruptor has the same problems that he's always had, and that's that he can get run at in lane, and he's in the mid game. If he's ahead, he feels like a monster. If he's behind, he can feel like a total non-presence.
And the reason he's normally a non-presence is because outside of like the utility of glimpsing a guy back,
ahead he feels like a monster. If he's behind, he can.
But against squishy heroes, damage is more of a threat because being a guy back is effective against large heroes. But against squishy heroes, damage is more of a threat. Damage being a guy back is effective against large heroes. Benefits that Disruptor has is actually useful in almost all ways.
Yeah, it's interesting though that VP are the ones after all that take out the Centaur. The Disruptor is now for Beast Coast is kind of a pre-counter to the Tide if Virtus Pro were looking in that direction.
It's true.
And the Beastmaster and the Centaur are now taken off the board. So that Mars that you talked about, maybe that's going to be the solution for VP.
I don't know if I want to play Mars against Bloodseeker. I don't think you'll ever land the spear.
I would agree.
Getting ready to throw and he just does some anime stuff basically, and then how are you going to hit him, you know?
Anime jukes.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. It's going to start jumping side to side. He'll be invisible, and you're like, oh, I might as well throw the spear backwards. It might be there. But yeah, something like that. It's area control, anti-run at you. They need a kinetic field essentially around their team, and then they just want to stand in the middle of the circle. And I don't know if anyone ever does that, kinetic field your teammates. Actually, is not a bad idea.
Or is this you talked about Husker in the previous draft, Paul? Is this some cheesy ass Husker pick for VP?
I was thinking maybe they go for something like an Enigma though.
No, it's not.
Because that's something that knits things together.
It's great for 4 seconds out of 200, yes.
Yeah, I know, it's got a long cooldown.
For the other hundreds of seconds, yes, it's not going to work. And even like Malphus is pretty weak disabled.
Something like that, maybe a Monkey King then?
Is this Pango mid?
It doesn't matter. Pango, Beast Coast, look at that run of you lineup. What the hell is VP?
Are you going to chase him?
VP needs to stomp these lanes or something. Or they need to like global silence him before he gets his ulti off.
Wow.
Like
Dazzle mid, this is, okay. I love this pick right now because again, it's what you need to do against BC. You need to win these lanes. You need to own that early part of the mid game. Dazzle mid, I hope he's going to go Greaves rush build here, get those Greaves before 15 minutes, exploit the cooldown reduction, and VP is going to be ready to fight continually in this match. Not like the last one. I think they've made the right adjustments from game one.
The initiation is going to be really, really important in this game. Like, you can't let them use their rolling boulder, blink, avalanche, toss a guy back. It needs to be like, hey, we're fighting, we global silence, we land some poison, we gust some guys, and then we're able to like kill one or two in that initial engagement. If it becomes like a wide spread out fight with pickoffs like Beast Coast typically plays, I think VP is going to get run over. But so it's like they can win with this draft. I think it's going to be difficult to execute, and Beast Coast is probably more likely to win it.
Okay. All right, thank you. Nahaz and Purge with their thoughts here on the panel. Time to head back to our commentary team of Kyle and Toby1 for game number 2.
Thank you, Red. Yes, we're back for game number 2. Beast Coast, an aggressive lineup, fantastic combinations back again with a tiny Bloodseeker. We've got a Pango to put the feather in the draft. And Virtus Pro, we have ourselves a Drow lineup.
Choose
here.
your...
Kyle, this, as a Dro fan myself, this feels very rough for a Dro Ranger. There are so many ways to close the distance and just pop her off and just remove that like buffer.
It's simple. Do you ever watch the movie Braveheart, Gladiator?
Yes.
It's very easy.
Yes.
You've got the
Casting was
archers,
fantastic.
Archers versus cavalry, all right? Archers have the advantage until the cavalry are on top of them, and that's what you're going to look to do here if you're Beast Coast. Roll through it, prevent the high damage output. Don't let these heroes stand still and deal DPS. But
I think Gladiator was a lot better choice than Braveheart for the Archers versus the Cavalry. What do you mean?
Well, yeah, because the cavalry never showed up because those goddamn traitors, Toby. But let's not get into that. Let's not get into that.
Sure. Let me just pass that through the House of Lords.
Braveheart's not. Never mind. Not gonna get into it. Look, here's the thing. VP, if there's a lineup, if there is an organization synonymous with success with Drow Ranger, it's got to be VP. Going all the way back to TI5, where they eliminated some of the favorites secret using a Drow lineup twice in a row. You probably don't even know if that's true or not because you don't remember, but it is. I know because right before they beat Secret, they beat me, and it still haunts me to this day.
That's that point when you got trust in Kyle.
The thing about it is, though, that Beast Coast, especially on the back of this Pangolier, you have so much vision. These two supports, Disruptor Nyx, you talk about finding kills. You cannot find better Slayers in the meta at the moment. You've got the off lane, or sorry, the mid tiny, that if he gets ahead could just start bodying people. Weak in lane against the Dazzle, of course, with 0 armor, at least for now. A VP, you want to get aggressive early, get towers, and make sure that you don't take bad fights, because Beast Coast mid game is incredibly powerful.
I agree with everything you said, Kyle, as I was staring at Pangolier. I actually think that's one of the of the coolest things ever is Pango's cosmetic, where he's got his own little pirate parrot right next to him. It's like you've actually introduced, like, well, we used to have the armadillos that everyone can still use, but now it's, yeah.
We'll see how this plays out. Schofield doing a bit of body blocking down bottom. Stinger, they're trying to make sure this comes into tower range right away. I love this aggro tri-lane into the Drow. This is how you want to address the hero. Don't let Epi Kid free farm because he just wants level 6. The moment he gets that, he's good to go.
And it really zones out Solo too. Like, Solo's meant to be the harassment. You go that first point up in Glaive of Wisdom because you want to get some level of damage to make space for your safe laner. But now, Epi Kid starts the lane at half-life. And what do they do about top lane anyway? Like, Pango, if you try and initiate on him, he just swashbuckles away. This is great, at least from save, where he's able to get these poison stacks onto Pango as long as he hits the lines right. And that's gonna be the first he misses.
He's done a great job, though, because he's already got lane control. It's going to be coming into his tower momentarily. They will make Schofield TP top. However, down bottom, it is a Silencer Drow versus a Bloodseeker. You got to assume that as long as he doesn't die, K1 will still be favored a bit here.
Point up in Glaive of Wisdom because you want to get some level of damage to make space for your safe laner. But now, Epi Kid starts the lane at half-life. It's greatly able to get these poison stacks onto Pango as long as he hits the lines right, and that's gonna be the first he misses.
He's done a great job though because he's already got lane control. It's gonna be coming into his tower momentarily. They will make Schofield TP top. However, down bottom, it is a Silencer Drow versus a Bloodseeker. You got to assume that as long as he doesn't die, K1 will still be favored a bit here.
Like how he just keeps also first point up in Thirst. So all right, we know we're gonna drop him low. If anyone else in any other lane has fights, we've seen a lot from mid lane, a hell of a lot from Beast Coast. It's always getting aggressive, and no one. He's a Dazzle though, so he'll be okay.
I love what they do. Like Stinger actually salves K1 because his regen's not nearly as important. Disruptor could go suicide if necessary. Bloodseeker could not, which means he'll be able to stay in lane a bit more efficiently. Now that he's level 2, he'll actually be able to heal up. Top lane, a little bit of aggression, some side pull off. And I'll mention, big thing for VP, they're having trouble adjusting to Rezo on the offlane. You've got what's effectively a 3-core lineup. What's an easy way to ensure every hero has a game? Pick a drow. All of a sudden, you've really got 3 cores, so long as they're all ranged heroes. Nobody really in that support role in this current lineup. And in theory, if they can do well in the lane, they'll be self-sufficient in all 3 lanes and then able to cruise with everybody effectively playing at 2.
Yeah, but so much of that damage. Oh, Stinger. He really is living life on the edge. Solo and Epi have 4 tangos between them, and they're actually, yeah, you see Solo's net worth just starting to drop down. He has 1 tango. That's all he has on him at the moment. Well, that's a good pick off on the Dark Courier. I wasn't able to get it against Chris. The bottle did get delivered first, however, but that's still not the most ideal scenario. And Stinger's going to do his thing, denies himself up. Spends cash before death, and he'll come back to the lane ready to spam out again. Almost feels like the old Zeus's that would play this type of way too.
And it's great because he buys 2 mangoes and some extra regen, then comes back bottom. So you not just get that free fountain trip, but you're also now coming with even more resources to make yourself more formidable before the next time you would suicide.
All right, Solo leaving the lane. He's got no life, and he actually kind of has to, because if he doesn't, K1 will just remain buffed up, so he cannot stay in the lane.
Where's he going?
To deny himself to a tier 2 tower, maybe? Hoping for a regen rune in 30 seconds? Maybe to help kill Chris Luck in mid, up on top. There's a lot of different options. Whisper, copying a lot of damage. And he actually is. He's going for mid lane. He's got Curse available. He starts off with the Glaives, however, and Chris is just going to avalanche Solo. The first blood's up on top lane, which will be Whisper going down, and Chris Luck instantly follows after. So, 2 different lanes. Solo now deny himself to the mid tier 2 tower. Resets up, makes it worth it.
And check out the mid CS, man. That's what I was talking about. No one, even before that kill, was putting in work. 600 net worth up on the Tiny at 24-7 to 19-3 in the CS. And Chris Luck, until he's 6, will have some real trouble here just because he's taking physical damage from the Dazzle Q and he has 0 armor. So easy for no one to pressure him here.
And now they've lost their buffs on bottom lane. K1's not having as great a time. Like, Disruptor can arrive, so what's he going to do? He's going to wall up, combo with the Blood Right, dropping Silencer down. They even glimpse him back in again. K1 really thinking about pushing this underneath the tower. Epi's doing a lot of damage, however. But the armor, the chainmail that's there, really feels like you're not getting anywhere near enough damage in.
Oh, now, Drow, you're in so much trouble. There's fighting happening in other lanes. Lesh is half HP. He's
they're going to wall him up again. Epi can't go anywhere. K1 can just keep going. As you said, because the fighting's happening in the other lanes, K1's just loving it. You'll have Save deny himself up, but Resolution's also quite low.
Top lane had a total of maybe like 200 health between them. So Bloodseeker with 2 points in Thirst is unbelievably powerful. And it's great because once you get those kills, you're getting a free creep wave, you're full HP on the Bloodseeker now, and you're going to collect all 4 bounty runes on the side of Beast Coast. Immediately they've equalized, and it's just like what they did to Fighting Pandas. Your win condition on Virtus Pro is currently level 3. He's got to now abandon the lane. The Drow has absolutely no game, much like the Morphling in the previous series.
But the advantage is that Dazzle's having a really good game. He just solo kills up the Tiny once again, sitting now at 2.9k in the net worth. But what does this go into? Once you have Necro Books, do you add more pressure? They're going to try and defend this tier 1 tower and bottom. Stinger copying a lot of damage from the tower, as well as the Curse. Tango regeneration will help him survive this, however. But Disruption out. Look for the follow-up split earth. Got to get the timing right. K1 connected on. Solo stays on top, and K1 can't do nothing.
He buffed himself, unfortunately, right before that went down. So taking 10% more damage. Not a huge deal, but definitely significant.
Chris, I think he's dead again.
He is.
Yep, no one can just chase under it. He knows it. Oh, Chris. Nice one charges, but the poison touch is more than enough to finish the job.
That was 40 damage per second, physical, almost doing pure, until he's in range of the +3 bonus armor from the tower. Not a favorable matchup for Tiny whatsoever. I'm very surprised they didn't throw somebody else there, but honestly, who would? Whisper on the Pango, then you have a Tiny solo top. No matter what, no one was always going to body his opponent.
Here's the easy combination again. Disruption into Split Earth with a whole bunch of Edict damage. So Whisper will rotate himself down to the bottom lane. Bloodseeker's now up on the top.
Dire's middle tower.
Yeah, he's just following the Drow.
Yeah.
Who's now in the jungle. That's the one big bright spot here for Beast Coast. Even though they're a little behind in both matchups, other than the Drow, he's still somewhat far away from level 6 and just really no game to speak of.
No one. Chris Luck is going to start it off with the Avalanche, sets up a Skullfield to get that nice impale off with the toss-up, and no one still can survive through this. And with the curse support arriving from Solo, Skullfield.
Oh, he's dead.
That's despite Carapace, but yeah, he's used too many abilities and the poison touch. Chris is trying to help him up here, and it's enough. Yep, he'll live.
Bottom, they're looking to maybe make a move here on Rezo, but he just hit 6. He's got that casual bracer, big fan. And actually, he might even kill Stinger. Nope, glimpsed in time.
Pull him away, and so Resolution can't land the stun either. But Stinger doesn't have a TP scroll. Resolution's too focused on the farm instead. Top lane, K1's going to go again. The Rupture is out over on Silencer. Has to walk himself out of the blood right. Save, going to go for the disruption. Skullfeld still in third. What he wants to do, Stinger will die in the meantime, but a nice spike. Carapace gets the following stun into the Silencer because he does have the curse on him. Solo will get the +2. He'll lose his life for it, but it won't stop K1 from continuously diving the save under the tier 1 tower. Support's coming in. K1 has to come through the trees and now run away as no one will arrive in the lane. But this forces no one to TP out, so Chris will get a little bit of breathing room.
So you got Necro.
And Whisper. Time to Rolling Thunder. Turn it around. Shield crash. Almost out of range. And he'll break free to kill off Epic.
It's so demoralizing playing against good Pango players. You just can't, there's no escaping it. You can only hope to run away, but Whisper hits him with the double rock and then immediately finishes him off with one right click. Already with the Javelin. He's having a nice game. We'll finish Arcanes off this wave. And once again, Beast Coast, 3 heroes, almost, well, top 4 in the net worth. No one's being a bit too bossy to think you could surpass him.
But Vodasbro could really punish. So yeah, you've got that attack over in mids. That's problematic, at least, to say for the Draw Ranger, but at the same time, Nyx Assassin dies with Disruption on top. The Necro book arrived, and this was really my question where I was kind of leading. No one, you get farm, what do? Level 1 Necro book, he teams up with Resolution, and they start forcing buildings.
I like this a lot. I think a lot of Dazzles overspend. They go for like this double, no, they get Arcanes, they get one, they get all these, you just want a Necro ASAP, and that's exactly what no one did here. It allows you to pressure towers. You are so strong around the map, and because you have your ult up so early, I mean, the cooldown on Necro is what, how much? 66.5 seconds. They last for 60. It is by far your best tool for pushing towers, for farming, dealing damage in fights. Just get this up ASAP.
Bit of a problematic position for Resolution. He still does a hell of a lot of damage. Skullfield has to move away. Remember, he's ruptured up, and that's when Stinger's here. It's like, all right, we'll wall in, we'll attack him from range. Now K1's like, all right, I can come back in again. The edict is gone. The Whisper, he's in trouble once more. No one Solo and Save, all chasing down this Pango. He has a hell of a lot of damage, however, but there's just no support because they were too busy killing off Rezo.
Man, admirable effort. He does preserve his mid-tower for now, at least. That Necro will be up in just 10 more seconds.
Skullfeld, he'll need a spike Carapace to try and save some kind of damage. Turn for a stun. Slows the creep wave, but the poison touch? Won't matter, he'll pop anyway.
Nice play there. Not bad.
They keep the tier 1 tower alive. It feels like the sacrifice they're willing to make.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. Look at the warding as well from these two teams. VP all defensive, 4 wards assembled to guard the river line from the South American side.
And 4 heroes coming to the mid lane to also claim it. So you start the damage on Resolution. Fortification is not available, so that tier 1 tower is toast. As the Invis Rune Shadow Demon, who's holding the Tome of Knowledge in his backpack, starts with Disruption off, and then the jump. Whisper, really nice hit through the backlines, combining with the Impale. No one gets deleted so quickly, and Whisper, under the cover of that Rolling Thunder, just keeps bouncing around, never-ending chain stuns onto Resolution to bring him down too. And Virtus.pro pushing up into the high ground, felt confident enough, they put the Observer Ward down, then they lost their entire team. Yep. And the Necro books as well to make sure they don't kill the Nyx.
And you can see why the last pick Pango comes in, right? This is arguably the strongest mid-game team fighter in Dota, and you can see why here. Yeah, sure, you can open up on Stinger. There's 4 VP heroes here, but immediately, Dazzle's dead. That means fight's over, and this Rolling Thunder hits how many times? A TP in from Ektar, and even deep, I mean, I guess this is a 5-on-4, so they lose the Disruptor, sure, but You just can't take that kind of fight if you're VP. You're not strong enough yet. Structures are fine, but the issue is like the Drow is not a real hero yet. He is just farming woods. That's all he can hope to do.
Like, that'd be fun if this was the old Drow and the ulti worked on the Ancients the way it did before, but it's not. You don't really recover as fast.
Yeah, it's why he's not picked anymore, right? It's still here once in a while, but previously you get 6, you go farm this triple camp, you clear everything in 1 minute, no problem. Now you actually have to kill ancient creeps the old-fashioned way, and 2,000 HP is rather formidable when you're hitting for 90.
Yeah, and especially when you don't even have your treads done just yet. So like it flies on the courier now, 3 wraith bands and the power treads. So farming gets a lot more efficient now for the Drow Ranger.
And you're gonna have to be concerned if you're VP right now because yes, sure, you've got to, you're not behind necessarily, but look how squishy this lineup is.
Yep.
That's
why they're not fighting. Like again, it's this top tier 2 tower push that's coming in. There's no fortification for the Dire side, so it will be a tier 2 tower for a tier 1 tower trade-off. Even this mid tower is taking a decent amount of time. Whisper's not helping, he's farming on the side. But they planted down Observer once they see if a fight does come, and it looks like Virtus Pro, they're willing to take it. The Radiant is scanning, they know there's no one sitting in the backline trees. The courier actually gets sniped off.
And Maelstrom finished on Whisper. There's going to be so much damage output coming from him in tandem with this Bloodseeker who's also got a Maelstrom of his own.
Good Gust. Just getting that silence onto the next assassin. Spy Carapace has already been used. He'll get his stun off, but that's all. But already Beast Coast, they've left. They're going to the side lanes. Blink Dagger up.
You can see the circles. No one's effectively saying, look guys, let's play around these wards in the enemy jungle. And EpiKid, he's circling where he wants to be, which is these camps on the left top side of the map. No intention of joining any sort of engagement. He is effectively origami. And Beast Coast, they're turning the faucet on him whenever it's possible.
You really just make it like it's just a soggy paper reference. Is that what you
That's what I was going for.
Hey, I can't get the great folds of a normal origami. It's no longer art.
And look at Beast Coast like this. They were to... I mean, it's cool how the same strategy's been refined over effectively the last, 8 years. But, Radiant play enemy jungle, Dire play enemy jungle, ward up around it, set traps, try and do what you can.
High res. Next assassin, right behind him. Needs to start with a stun, but okay, they'll work with Crucilock. And then a quick chain. That's the reveal of the Blink Dagger, but you'll take another kill on Resolution for sure.
And big issue right now, yeah, gold's even, but let's check out the XP graph if we can real fast. You've got 3 heroes almost level 12 on Beast Coast. Rezo is level 8. He's level 8. This is not where you want to be as a core Leshrac. Who has the most HP on this Radiant side? Their tankiest hero is a Dazzle at 1400.
Yeah, definitely not great.
Silence.
Yeah, Pango's having a hard time getting out of this one. He really needed to get that roll off, but couldn't do it. Tiny, good avalanche, looking for at least a revenge kill into solo. Toss any kind of tree, and he's looking for it. He's able to claim it. He claims it after death, however.
That means there's a +2?
That
or -2, depending on whether you think the glass is half full or empty.
Well, the -2s don't show up on the board, so we'll always look at it as a +2 because it's the only metric we can actually see. Another one of those easy requests we'd love to have. Put it on the spring cleaning list.
But even November.
Yeah, well, it could still be on the list.
And these Beast Coast heroes, it feels like they're one fight away from just taking over this fight. And yeah,
here we go.
Hector's here. Get on out of here.
Hey, Rez! This is going to be your 4th death of the game. Rolling Thunder from Pango, jumping forward, making sure Leshrac doesn't even get the stun and allows him to move forward, looking for another target, and the Drow Ranger. Again, Sansa comes in with the help of Dazzle Bloodseeker, having a very hard time. The Blood Right will kick in. K1 needs to find this kill so he can stay in the fight, but the Storm, as well as the wall, no one and Drow Ranger trapped in here, but where's the follow-up damage? Without the Bloodseeker, it's very difficult with the Pango. Does not hit that swashbuckle, but Crucilock will try and do the work instead. Maybe if one more attack. Now, there he goes. EpiKid will finally fall. SD did delay this. He'll end up dying as well. He might bring Stinger down with him with the appointment. It does actually connect and save one hit away. Crucilock will do it. Resolution. It started with his death and it'll end with his kill if he can catch out Crucilock. But there's no Yule Scepter. There's no control. Crucilock just walking off.
He's level 8, man. You're not making that happen. Then Crucilock is level 2,000 HP, 22 armor.
So we lost. So everybody got to die apart from Chris.
Correct. And you can see there the issue with this VP lineup. The moment the Fox is in the hen house, there's nothing to do but panic. They had an active shrine. They had more numbers. They even killed the Bloodseeker right off the bat. It does not matter. They are simply too squishy as these backline heroes. The supports, there's nothing they can do. He even missed the swashbuckle, split the uprights. Otherwise, that fight goes
Here we go again. The wall's up, the observer ward on the hillside. It saw everything they needed to. And Solo at least gets the curse off. Doesn't commit the global silence, however. There's more support arrives. Whisper into the Rolling Thunder. Needs this to battle on top of Resolution. Gets the following chain stuns into save. Needs to get down this hill, however. The Blood Rite comes in and the swashbuckle away to safety. No one ruptured up. They feel like going in. And Nyx Assassin, throw him in. Turn on the spike. Carapace getting any kind of chain stuns he possibly can. But then Epikid sits on the high ground, does all the damage he needs to. Stinger once again trying to work it with Chris Luck, but they can't get it when defensive disruptions there from safe. Finally, they will do so. No one will fall once more. As Chris Luck on the wrong side of the tracks turns to again for the avalanche toss combination. Where is his friend? Whisper comes in, gets the disarm on the Drow Ranger, but now with the swashbuckle, he's got it a little bit too deep. Tiny will definitely die, but his shield crushes himself down the hill and away to safety. Whisper. And Bloodseeker wasn't even involved, but he went back to farming a long time ago. It's like, I don't know what you boys want to do. I'm all for fighting, but maybe not just yet.
Big thing, I believe, there wasn't a blink on Tiny in that engagement, right? He just bought that. I think he was going Echo Saber first and just finished that plus the blink. Perhaps it was on the courier that died, no clue.
No,
but either way.
He had the blink in the previous fight.
Interesting. Why would he toss the Nyx in instead of tossing the Ruptured Dazzle out if that's the case?
Questions.
We'll check that out in the film study later.
He had the blink tag like 5 minutes ago. That's how they got the initial kill on Resolution.
Notice how net worth, it seems no matter how the game starts, somehow Beast Coast's 3 cores rise to the top as their 2 supports fall towards the bottom.
Beast Coast, now the masters of souffle.
It's really hard to make a souffle.
I know. That's why you gotta rise to the top.
Oh, that was the cream.
This is a nice. Oh, that's the cream of the crop. Drow Ranger with that double damage rune. They get Roshan so quickly, and they give the Aegis to Dazzle. As everyone comes in close, get rid of the Dire Observer Ward.
24-20. It is 18.5 minutes in. We've got 44 kills.
Love it. Love it. Give me more.
This is what I mean. VP, they're just like, you know, we're done with this shit. Beast Coast, they're battlers. We're not having it anymore. You want to come and fight us? We're willing. And I don't necessarily think that that's a poor choice, because so far today they've looked nigh unstoppable. And I love Ector's farming patterns, man. He's just continuously clearing this triple camp, staying near his team. They don't want to fight right now into the Aegis. Plus, Solo's silence is active. That's huge. If you can interrupt this Pangolier ultimate, it buys them the time to perhaps find kills before the Rolling Thunder can come through.
Oh, no one won't get caught inside the wall, sending his Necro units up the hill to see instead. I also love no one scribbles across the map. He basically circled everywhere that wasn't his side of the map. And we need to control everything on the northern side of the river.
And doing their best. Again, no. This is also, I think, the right build from no one. Like the order, at least. I've seen sometimes people go like Necro 3 on Dazzle, but I really think you just rush that Necro because it's your acceleration item. It's almost better than a Midas. Then you go for all these team fight support items. The rush Necro 3 just kind of feels off.
Res is fading.
Expensive.
He knows the Sentry Wood is there. They already had that little dabble with Nyx, but the Spike Carapace ends up sending it back. But the Pulse Nova and the Edict damage with Global Silence. Nyx Assassin tries to use the Shrine to stay alive, but it won't happen. But so much damage has been done that now it's K1's turn just to kill everybody. He wants to try and catch up to Epikid. It won't work, however. He'll kill off the 2 supports instead, and then he can move himself over the Drow Ranger while the Storm Dazzle. Is he going to TP out? No, Chris Luck. He gets the Avalanche in time. No one under where the tier 2 tower used to be. Drow Ranger was at least able to get back to safety with no other sons to be able to just TP home. No one will not be so lucky. They'll break the Aegis of the Immortal. And once again, it feels like a team is very willing to fight into Beast Coast and very willing to die to Beast Coast.
It's this Bloodseeker, man. Stop giving him Bloodseeker. I can see there's some members of North American Dota in our chat right now, and they're all very aware of how this ends because almost anybody that queues on the server knows the pain.
They picked it second phase as well. They actually chose to ban out the Gyro and the Lifestealer instead of the Bloodseeker. This was a willing choice.
I'll take that.
It's just, man, there it is. They've acquired the goal. 3 cores of Beast Coast, top 3 in net worth. Solo soon to fall, and there he goes. Your draft's too squishy. I like the fight. I like the concept that VP was going for. But where's the beef, Toby? Where's the beef that can get in front and actually tank some of this damage and upfront spells from Beast Coast?
Wasn't it Alan that was bringing up that point? You get a Drow Ranger, you need to have a Centaur or something like that in the front lines, but it doesn't work with the way they wanted to lane it. They picked the Dazzle as the last one. They didn't push the Lesh to the off.
Is under attack.
I mean, they did push the Lesh to the off and didn't put him in the mid. It makes sense, but it really had such a heavy reliance that you can keep going. But they're not out of this fight. They're not out of this game just yet. We're acting like Beast Coast is going to win every single fight in the future. But the execution of VP, if it's good, they'll find Skullfeld over in the tree line. Resolution will claim him. And Resolution's getting tankier. He's moving towards the BKB after having the pipe.
But pipe into BKB?
I know.
Does that ever feel good?
Yeah, probably not. Like, but hey, I'm trying to look on the bright side of life. Remember what the Monty Python boys always say.
That's a good point. Good point.
Yeah, no one expects the Spanish Inquisition.
That is true.
The save trying to come closer, able to do so. The Glimmer Cape let him close the distance. A quick glimpse away by Stinger. Chris trying to have a little bit more time. The Purge slowing him down. And then with the Storm, they have to run around it. Lestrag, okay, here we go. Bloodseeker, it's time to fight. And with a huge swashbuckle all over him is Solo, who got ruptured up. And they just shield crash their way in. Pango copping so much damage. They still need to focus Epikid at some point. Now Whisper will finally join in. The BKB Bloodseeker. Does he really want to rejoin this fight? I think it's about that time. No one's low. The tree toss going to be a little bit off target. Without the Pango, it feels like Beast Coast would give a little respect to VP.
Well, credit to VP. They recognize the critical kill here. It's the Pangolier. You'll watch. Really well played by Chris. Like, he had a haste rune this whole time. Waits for the Shadow out to proc because it's always purging. Boom. He's going to be able to get away. Nice try from Whisper, but that silence was perfect. He uses himself up in the air. Rezo is there to land the stun. They have got to kill the Pango before his ult comes off, or you have no hope whatsoever. They would have been completely cleaned up. Instead, they're forcing Hector back. They win a critical engagement, and Roshan will be spawning within the next 3 to 6 minutes. That's going to be the big engagement you've got to win if you're VP. But yeah, K1 somehow, he's 4K ahead of the game right now. This man is unstoppable.
Well, it's because he doesn't really die that much either. Like, he's 11-2. Hey, you lose the Pango, but this is what we saw from Beast Coast earlier today. Supports will die.
Yeah.
K1 does not. And he did back out of that fight. It felt like maybe a little earlier, maybe he could have got into the back lines and done a little bit more. But if he dies, VP gets so much.
The problem is, the big concern with VP, look at the itemization of the 3 cores, right? You have Pike BKB on Rezo. There's no damage there. Your Drow has just a Hurricane Pike.
Yeah, but she needs that too.
But for what?
She needs a repositioner from the attacks of Beast Coast.
From Ruptures? How do you juke Rupture? How do you juke Glimpse?
I suppose if Tiny also jumps you as well, you're going to get hit by Avalanche.
You don't need a positioning tool. You need the ability to deal damage. Your Dazzle has Greaves and a Necro. This is not a lineup that can afford to just go pure defensive because there's nothing you can itemize for that will allow you to survive Beast Coast. You need to have so much damage that a one miscue or perhaps advantageous positioning, a nice silence on the high ground, you have to win this fight within the silence, but no one's dealing damage.
Issues galore. 25-minute runes are about to spawn. Skullfelt, Resolution once again. Feels like he's always the starter of this. They trigger the global silence. This is a huge thing for Beast Coast because now Pango can Rolling Thunder if he can join the fight. They're already in the way. Lashrak has to BKB nice and early on, but all these low heroes, but it's K1 who gets focused down by Epi. They do get the false sense, but now Whisper rolls through a 3-man disarm into a secondary shield crush. Epikid, he's kept alive by the Shallow Grave, but he's brought over towards Stinger, who should be able to finish the job. Actually, he does almost no damage, but yeah, with the help of Whisper, they bring him down. But underneath the shrine, a glimpse, goodbye save. His illusions can remain. Whisper kind of tramped, another jump forward, another Shallow Grave. Solo surviving. Skullfelt, the curse will wear off as he TPs away to safety. And Beast Coast, this time around, they bought off more than they can chew.
Sick play there from VP. One, advantageous positioning. They've got vision, they've got high ground edge. Drow's in a great position to just turn around and kill Bloodseeker, who got BKB off, but because of the Shadow Demon Purge, it doesn't matter. All of a sudden, there's 3 heroes right-clicking you. You're going to go down anyway. Really good target selection there. And Whisper, of course, just a bit too late coming into the fight. Beast Coast love these fights where they show you 2 heroes as the other 3 come in and try and pincer. That time just not quite lined up in terms of the timing.
You know, the funny thing is that the money went to save. Like, he got, I think it was about 500 gold for killing off the Bloodseeker. He already had Glimmer Cape. Now he's got Ether Lens and he's going for the Blink Dagger. So we've got some good... it really worked out, but it's a save mechanism available for the Shadow Demon. trying to battle against the Nyx assassin who was on a scouting mission, still walking right underneath the sentry ward. 4 staff down and away, has no vendetta, has no real way to stop apart from a good impulse on into resolution. But that's 2 heroes chasing the Nyx into the trees, who's already regenerating and actually gonna walk it off.
And he lives there because the warding from VP, while solid, it doesn't see any enemy heroes. And they've learned their lesson at this point. You don't want to chase supports for too long against this team, because all of a sudden you'll be walking into one of those booby traps and 3 of your heroes have died and you've given away an objective and things get scary. Nice sentry ward. Stinger, he should check high ground here. He will do so with the courier. Nice job. He'll grab that ward.
Oh, we added a plus 600 to the cast range now. A Bloodseeker for his Rupture. Let's actually update the circle. It feels like that is still not big enough, the circle on the Bloodseeker. Alright.
Roshan spawning in 155. That'll be the big fight. And again, Beast Coast, they're down in kills once again. They're down in towers, but they're ahead in gold significantly. And a big part of that is just that they continuously ensure that Hector, he always gets this Maelstrom first item on his Bloodseeker. And we've seen there were 3 or 4 fights. He's just farming. Maybe he'll rejoin if he gets that 700 MS and he's nearby, but otherwise he's going to focus on acceleration. If we once again check out the last hits, it's still 3 cores from Beast Coast in the top. Like, they're just farming more efficiently. That's where they're grabbing this edge. Kills are not nearly as important as creeps nowadays in the new Dota2.
But still, Beast Coast take both of them. Pressure being applied to bottom. Chris will always be there to mop up. Going in for the full Daedalus True Volley.
Scanning.
VP, you want to try Roshan? Sure.
Another example of an Ags that just... I love Tree Volley, cool. But why do the trees have to slow, Toby?
Why do they have to take the effect of the Echo Saber?
What? Who thinks these things up?
Geniuses. Geniuses, I say. Gotta get out of range of that sentry ward. Nyx assassin still doesn't have the invis. Support's coming in from the Tiny. A little too close. There's a volley trying to create some space, hitting into resolution pretty hard. But not hard enough, but now they smoke up. Virtus Pro. 5 heroes together do it.
Yep,
The
30 seconds on
Bloodseeker
Roche.
was pushing the top lane. But look where Disruptor is. Stinger is looking, waiting, breaks the smoke, puts down defensive wall, and now just continues to run. The Observer Ward did see which way he did run, but he's coming to his own Observer Ward, so he can battle inside of vision.
Sick. That's so good. And now
Care with Courier. Care with Courier as well. That thing just delivered. It's going straight over the top of everyone else. The Rupture is out. Resolution. Good Storm in the back lines. There goes your save. If they can keep the stuns going, Global Silence returns around, and maybe now with the Shallow Grave, save can do some work. Purging over onto K1. They're bouncing around Roshan. Finally, Epikit. He's going to be used up and then brought down on the fall. Chris Luck finding that kill. And Bloodseeker's so lucky. Misses uphill from solo. So K1's able to survive, but the battle continues. Resolution begins its own TP. Glimpse is available at TP. He got to go home for half a second to say goodbye to the family. And now Roshan is opened up for Beast Coast.
That's just really good. Beast Coast recognized, look, we gotta kill the Shadow Demon. So they do. He gets the Purge off, but K1, he had preemptively popped BKB, and he has a linkage. There's no way they can break that, so the Purge doesn't even go off. I like Rezo's choice to just stand and fight, but his team wasn't close enough. You're not going to win these split engagements as VP. You need that 3 to 4 second window to kill one of these Beast Coast cores. They're just too tanky. Drow still doesn't do anything, Toby.
She was so isolated from the rest of her team, she could never do anything. Like the fights where Drow Ranger seems to just have this good time is when Beast Coast have fought underneath shrines. It won't be the first time not to at this tournament. It definitely won't be the last. But she's able to sit on this high ground and become that big cannon from long range. But Beast Coast have cottoned onto this now. They have so many different ways to close the distance, make sure she can't get her damage out. The Dazzle is having to self-grave. Solo, I think, has actually become one of the big things that have slowed down Beast Coast. I think his Global Silence timing has been perfect, and it's really caused Beast Coast to be a little bit more cautious about their ability spam. But it's still so hard.
It's the same story in like both series this game, where Beast Coast, they have their one position, the win condition, having a great start, top of the net worth charts, and the enemy one has such a poor start that at some point in the game he's doubled up in net worth and has next to no impact. Like a Drow having to go pike BKB, there's no DPS there, Tobes.
We're going to double Aghanim Scepters. The second one has now arrived. It's over on Pango. BKB defensive from Resolution. That's his 8-second one to stop the glimpse back. But Whisper's damage has now been massively amplified. Tiny's already got his huge one, thanks to the full Daedalus completed.
Just wait till Whisper starts to make moves. He has that Ags picked up along with the Diffusal and the Maelstrom.
Pull him back up, and this time it's going to be solo. He'll get the Shallow Grave. I don't know if that's enough to get him back. Someone got a 4-star? Someone got some way to save him?
No. And Whisper also, he has the talent for the 2-second shield crash in Rolling Thunder, too. So he gets that spell off. You're in so much trouble. Bottom lane, Hector's forcing TPs inside the base.
Yeah, you're in the rush. My God! The volley! Save had no chance to survive this, and Whisper's just rolling, thundering around. Swashbuckling as he goes. And Resolution's run back in, silenced up, slowed up, and then glimpsed back over. He has no BKB for protection, just the Shallow Grave. But look at Chris, playing from the side, exactly where he wants to be with that volley. Resolution has to buy back, so does Solo, to try and repel Beast Coast from the base, but they've got so many buybacks, and the tier 3 tower, but you know this is Beast Coast, they want to keep fighting a little bit more. Solo, the Shallow Graves from no one, he's playing like a support, there's no damage from him, that has to come from Epikid. They get the damage out, but it kills off only the Aegis, the Immortal Bloodseeker. Solo gets swung by Bark, and another glimpse, Resolution, BKB or not, Shallow Grave or not, he is totally dead, and I think with it, the hopes of this game, that's the second time I've seen K1 DX.
It's not even worth the XD. You get a DX.
It's the other way around. And he's trying to volley in, Chris.
Try to kill him in the fountain.
My God. There is such shenanigans. You haven't even taken a second lane of Rax yet, guys. I know you feel confident. And Chris wants to go. His volley just came back off cooldown.
Oh no, he's getting towards the trees.
Yeah, be careful. Turn around, Whisper needs to land the stun. And now no one. Boom, boom, boom. BKB, he'll move up.
Team?
He's TPing out. What is this? K1's like, am I the only one playing objective-based gaming? In Dota, you have to kill these things called racks, which give you advantages in lanes.
I think they may have been expecting a GG there, but VP, I think this might be their last game of the day. They don't want to end it just
Look at
yet.
SD go. It's like, I'll TP out. If I get, oh, wait. Oh, yeah, went the other way. He needs to purge, catcher, and buy time for Draw Ranger to catch up. Okay, ain't happening. Okay, we get to we just get to watch the feed. I love how we have these 5-second clips that we just jump to. It's just like, well, what exactly is this? Well, this is Beast Coast.
And just solid Dota 2, man. Again, it feels to me like Beast Coast, they're a different squad when they're in their comfort zone. In their drafts yesterday, a bit unconventional, not really. You didn't feel the same way. When you see Hector playing these Bloodseekers, these Wraith Kings, when Chris Luck is on his TAs and his Tiny, like, it's just a different squad. And Whisper could quite possibly be, he's definitely the best offlaner in his region, but I think you could make an argument that he's one of the best 5 in the world right now. Definitely going to this upcoming major. But we'll see what happens when the big guns come out of their mini retirement throughout the winter, hibernating until that second major.
And that's when we see the real test happen, as the team fight's already going to begin. Leshrac up next to the bounty runes. That's what they decided to fight over. No one. And Macklines, Chris trying to get some of this damage out, but he can't do it. He's in the middle of 4-5 heroes from Virtus Pro, dead for 100 seconds. And a jump forward, Leshrac, Spike Carapace stunned up. He couldn't really get himself free of that one. They need to keep him controlled with a shield crush, bouncing through a little bit too deep there for the Pango. And he's actually kind of trapped on the edge of Roshan's cliff. And maybe Beast Coast, were you too aggressive? This game was not in the bag yet. K1 is going to try and put it there, going after Silencer, but the Shallow Grave will end up protecting him. And Beast Coast will back off. Oh, the jump. If that Shallow Grave ended half of a second earlier, it would have been enough.
Tiny has a basher.
Yes, he does.
Not a BKB, mind you. No. Who needs one of those?
Yeah,
against Silencer and Leshrac.
Yeah. It's like, I just need an Abyssal Blade. I need to be in the middle of 5 Virtus Pro heroes. At least I have my trees, but I can't volley because I get silenced. And now K1. Trouble for him. Already burned the mana style. Look, his fizz being broken. BKB TP out. And the damage is put to the test by Virtus Pro. We found wanting. But their immunities are down. Like, it's 5 seconds on these BKBs.
one of those few games where you're like, hey, Disruptor, you actually don't need an Aghanim Scepter in this game.
Maybe Beast Coast just felt bad. They're like, look, we have more kills than the enemy. We don't want to win and outscore them. We want to make them feel like they had a fighting shot. However, now it's time to maybe regroup, wait for 5, perhaps finish this AC on the Bloodseeker. He'll be completing that in just a moment. Then look to go take that full 5-on-5 engagement. Hex also about to be completed by no one. That could change things around. As this Drow lineup continues to scale, they're going to do some serious damage. It is 5 ranged heroes. Blink now picked up on Epikid as well, so they gotta abuse positioning. You gotta fight around this Silencer ultimate. But you do have the damage. You can make something happen here. It's just gonna require you outplaying your opponents.
So Assault Kuros up. The Gem of Truth side is going to be very valuable now on Nyx Assassin. No surprises. Whisper's trying to push in through the top lane. Has Tani decided to change his item build at all? No, he has not. There, so we've got 2 bashes. In the tree lines, Drow Ranger. Looking for their own target. Just a couple of illusions of Bloodseeker scouting out the Rupture. Overrun Silencer. Man, he takes so much damage, getting pushed away by the Rolling Thunder. No, Whisper! Chomp yourself down! Never go full RTZ. The BKB will not protect Dazzle. He has to Shelly opens up Epikid on the run from K1, but 4-star forward by the Nyx Assassin. Keeps that distance nice and close for K1. 3 heroes down. That's a little bit of composure, and they get the GG call out. Beast Coast will get a 4-0 record for day 2 of ESL 1, repairing their 0-4 of day 1.
I said they needed advantageous positioning, and then all of a sudden Beast Coast pop them in the jungle. They have nowhere to turn, and the moment you get opened on like that, they're
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Getting rusty.
Gold is a great conductor.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen.
That was a fail bolt.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
He's here.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
aggression.
Your Shan has fallen to the Radiant.
Will never die.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
Haste.
A wyvern's breath.
Radiant are scanning.
You're tougher than that. Blow your fuses. Dip my power. Despair.
Dire's middle barracks are under attack. Dire are scanning.
I'll take that.
Tell the ogre you're sorry. Double damage. Not what you expected. Feel it.
Wicked sick.
We owe you.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. structures are under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower has fallen. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's bottom shrine is under attack.
Thanks!
Dire's bottom shrine has fallen.
Now my enemies pay.